because the Office of the President has been sued through the Microfinance and Small Loan Center and also the Attorney General for introducing tricycles known as Mahama Camboo for commercial purposes in some communities across the country. The suit was filed by the NGO Road Safety Advocates Ghana, who say the use of tricycles for commercial purposes is illegal. More than 100 people have died in the last few months since its introduction. Road Safety Advocates Ghana is seeking a perpetual injunction to restrain motorcycle, tricycle, and other riders from carrying fare-paying passengers at any time. The details they've given in a writ they filed. We're also learning that for those that this suit is against, the Attorney General and MASLOC, they are just about receiving their writs. They are studying the writs as we speak, and we'll try and get their response sometime here on the program. But the man who has made it to court and filing this writ joins me now in the studio for a discussion on what has informed his decision to restrain MASLOC and also suing the Attorney General on this matter. Nana, I'm here is with Road Safety Advocates Ghana. He joins me now in the studio. Good afternoon to you, sir.
Good afternoon, Francis.
And thanks for having time to join us this afternoon here on the program. We've had this conversation before, haven't we? Just a few weeks ago, you had concerns with this tricycle being used in certain parts of the country, which is in clear violation of the laws of the land in terms of road regulations. But why sue the Attorney General and MASLOC?
Well, we're suing the Attorney General and MASLOC because MASLOC is a government agency who are distributing the illegal. I don't want to use the Mahama Camboo because then when you bring in Mahama Camboo, then it connotes politics and stuff like that. But we in Road Safety Advocates Ghana, we are not doing politics.
So these are tricycles?
So it's a tricycle called essence, yes. Auto rickshaw, but it's been nicknamed Mahama Camboo. So the moment you say Mahama Camboo, then people are bringing in politics. And we are not here doing politics. We care about the killings that are going on in Tamale, that every month 10 people are killed in Tamale with these tricycles, which are illegal. So basically, that's what we are here for.
Okay, so the key question I was asking is, why sue MASLOC? Because in any event, MASLOC as an entity would provide the vehicles for its use. The one who ensures that it's not used for the wrong purpose is the Motor Traffic and Transport Department, MTTD, and the DVLA. Yes. So why not sue them and rather MASLOC and the Attorney General?
DVLA and MTTD, they are also we are suing them as well. They are joined in the suit or the writ, if I should say so. But the reason why we are suing MASLOC, to all intents and purposes, is not a distributor of these vehicles, but they are using these vehicles as a means of alleviating poverty. And it's stated clearly that they're doing that as a measure to alleviate poverty. Now, what we are saying is that it's like the mining industry. They use dynamites, and dynamites are heavily, regulated because of its risk that it portends to the public at large. So you cannot go out there as an agency to go and put dynamite in the hands of road diggers or septic tank diggers to use when they are not regulated to use dynamite.
Okay,
the analogy
yes, but the analogy you pick up here it's interesting. The solution won't be in stopping the use of dynamite. It will be in the proper regulation of its use on the market.
Yes.
So if you translate that same analogy for these tricycles that you speak of,
yes.
Is it a question of MTTD saying, guys, use these cars for the right purpose, or MASLOC should be stopped altogether from distributing these tricycles?
Yes,
because it has a commercial purpose for it.
Yes, why we are saying that the MASLOC, who is an estate agency right under the watchful eye of the presidency, should know better that the law that regulates the motor traffic for the use of commercial transport prohibits tricycles to be used as a commercial transport. So for that reason, they are in full violation of the law. So we are saying that MASLOC should not be the facilitator of bringing in these vehicles and giving them away as a measure of alleviating poverty, but should know better that it's against the law, and the law does not allow these motor tricycles to be used as a commercial transport.
Okay,
that's why we are
is it against the law for these tricycles to be used for commercial purposes, or it's against the law to use it for carrying people who are paying to commute from one point to the next?
So what's the commercial purpose?
It could even be for carrying goods.
And even that, the law, the road law prohibits that.
The use of the tricycle to carry goods?
The road law only says that it should be used for private use only. LI 2180 regulations 128. It prohibits the usage for commercial transport. So if you're using it to cut, like we see on the roads these days, that some of them are using it to distribute pure water and stuff like that, the law prohibits that. So basically what you're saying, and in fact, indeed, what is really make me incensed is that we are a country governed by rule of law. Now, as you speak, you called me earlier, and I was in the committee that has been tasked to look at the merits and demerits of bringing these vehicles in as a commercial transport. I mean, the time that this law was probably formulated, that time it was a different environment where these tricycles that are now being used, they have been modified, and the suitability have been enhanced. So what we are saying as road safety advocates is that since the DVLA, Road Safety Commission, and MTTD have set up a committee to look into reviewing the law so that it may pave the way for the usage of the Mahama Camboo, I didn't want to use Mahama Camboo, the auto rickshaw, to be used as commercial transport. The argument is being made, and we have looked at it. In fact, I do not want to take the wind out of the sail of the committee, but what we just put the finishing touches is that, good, it makes sense that there are some gaps in the rural areas in terms of transportation needs. So it may be a good idea to recommend its usage in the rural areas, but in the traffic flow in the urban areas, it doesn't mix with the high-speed traffic in the urban areas, which leads to a lot of road crashes and accidents. Okay,
there's something I find pretty interesting here. You're a member of a committee that's looking into these tricycles being used the right way in the country.
Yes.
Yet still, you go to court to sue the Attorney General, MASLOC, and the other bodies which are all part of the regulatory body. Why is that?
It's not me, per se, who went to court. It's my organization that I happen
which you are a member of.
Yeah, well, you see, I am on the committee on a different banner, because I have a company that's called Safety Ghana that was invited to go on the committee to bring some expertise on it. But then I also have an organization which specifically deals with road safety issues. So on that,
but how do you wear the two caps? One cap saying, I'm suing you guys, I'm in this company, but I'm in the other staying with you in the committee to fix all of this?
It's a decision made by the organization that we want to go and stop this menace. Because if you don't stop it, and then it comes and flood the market, then it becomes, you open up the can of worms, and you cannot really put the worms back in the can. So let's stop it from source, so that it doesn't become a can of worms where it will permeate the whole society, and we will not be able to put a stop.
It's good you say you're part of the committee. For the committee that's looking into this matter, where are we at resolving this? And wouldn't the resolution of this problem make this writ and the perpetual injunction you're seeking become null and void?
No, even if that be, I don't have any issue with that at all. But in the meantime, as we are a country governed by rule of law, what I'm basically saying is that let the law be looked at, amended, and put the right legislative mechanisms in place, and make it lawful to use these tricycles, which, to all intents and purposes, may serve the rural areas, their needs, the gaps in the transportation demands in the rural areas. But until the law is amended and making it legal to use these vehicles, don't put them on the roads. Doesn't that make any sense? Because the law, the country is governed by law. So if there's something that is illegal, why allow it to be used when it's illegal?
There's still one question you haven't answered for me, sir.
Yes.
Why won't you pile pressure on the law enforcement bodies to ensure that the ones that are already on the market are properly managed, rather than saying stop distribution? all in one.
Do you think I have the wherewithal to do that? It's the law courts that can compel the enforcement agency and the DVLA to put a halt to it. But I, in my organization, don't have the capacity to stop the MTTD. Do you think I have the
You said the law courts can work, so why didn't you sue them to pile pressure in having them have what you want? The MTTD and the DVLA.
No, the MTTD is only enforcing agency. So we cannot we cannot go to court to compel them to enforce the law.
Why not? If they are clearly not doing it in your view.
But the law already is there for the police to enforce it. So do I have to go to court to tell them what to do?
Because I'm looking at the challenge that you've presented to us with these tricycles. And it's more of a question of those who are in authority making sure that those who use these tricycles are using it for the right purpose or they get it off the road. Law enforcement. Why don't we tackle that first and then we can look at who is bringing it in?
No, but see, because these tricycles are coming from a state agency under the presidency, it disables all the enforcing agencies. And also, let me even go further to say that when the president went to WA and sat in that auto rickshaw and then gave his blessing to it, I mean, a police commander, a district commander, cannot go out there in WA, cannot go and say that, no, you cannot allow these vehicles to be used as a taxi.
But the Road Safety Commission came out, and I remember when the president went to the region and sat in the car, they were quite vociferous in saying that this is wrong. So why can't the police do same? Why do you think the police cannot do same?
Do you think road safety advocates, we can make noise about it, we can go on the rooftops and say that it's illegal and whatever, but you cannot go and tell the IGP that you should enforce the law. But the law courts can, since we attach the MTTD, the law courts can force the MTTD to enforce the law.
How far are you willing to take this? Because it's looking as though, yes, perpetual injunction is a good option, but what if you don't get what you want?
Well, I'll leave it to the law courts to decide.
If you don't get what you want?
No, we'll go all the way, and then if the law says that, yes, what is explicit, that is written in black and white, that LI 2180 2012 says that you cannot use these tricycles as a commercial transport. And I take the matter to court, and the good lords out there says that, no, I have no case, then I rest my case.
All right, Nana Anome here. I want to say thank you for joining us today.
It's a pleasure.
For explaining the decision you've taken to go to court to sue the Attorney General, MASLOC. Now he's telling us that the MTTD and DVL are also been joined in this suit to get them to enforce the law on the use of tricycles in the country. We'll go for a quick break. When we'll come back, we'll bring you more on the program. Stay with us.